success, because they are the two teams that are trying to kind of keep this all together for a sprint finish.
Green Project Bardiani involved as well in this move. They had 2 riders in the top 10 yesterday, with Zanonziello and Lorenzo Conforti.
Human Powered Health there in second place. He's not riding, so he's a kind of satellite rider that just kind of following the moves. You can see Tudor Pro Cycling as well. Don't think Astana are involved here. If they were, then I think there could be a chance, but it looks as if the Human Powered Health rider didn't want to contribute, which means that they're riding for WEMAS, as we know, so they don't want this break to be successful.
Every time you say his name, I think you're going to say wee man. But it's WEMAS.
WEMAS.
Yeah. I love the Scottish. I love the Scottish word "we." It's so funny. The St George team there in the black and red, the Australian team, but back at the front with the Spanish teams really making life difficult for the other. On our way to the intermediate sprint, here we have Basso, Mikel Bescara there of Euskaltel, our riders from Thailand. But we want to go back to the front because the sprint is coming up. Yeah, this is quite an interesting group. Matteo Scalco, one of the riders there. We have Luke Mudgway of Bolton Equities. He was part of the proceedings earlier today as well. I think we have Attilo Viviani there with 83. A quick glance on the numbers there. And, oh.
Somebody's shoe. With 9 riders there, 2 riders from Kaharuao. This sprint is coming up. Don't think everybody wants to contribute, and you can see that the Bolton Equities rider that was represented there was he was looking to pounce. He was looking for this sprint coming up with 13 kilometres to go.
He did pick up 3 bonus seconds at the sprint that came at 100 kilometres to go. Luke Mudgway, he was part of that breakaway, so already very active earlier today, the man from New Zealand.
1 kilometre to go.
Yeah, a little bit less for the riders at the front, so the sprint should be coming up. Hopefully we'll go to a camera shot there, or maybe have a fixed camera on the sprint. But from this perspective, it doesn't really help at all. I think they're already there, Brian. I think they're already past the line.
500. Here we go.
Looks like the peloton have come back, and the line is right here. And again, the riders in pink there with the bonus seconds. That is a good move there by E of Education Easy Post. We did see that yesterday as well with Simon Carr and Michael Valgren.
Yeah, looked like similar combination there. Quite hard to kind of pick out there with those pictures, but did look as if Simon Carr and Valgren got up there. An immediate attack afterwards by Green Project Bardiani.
Yeah, and this is something that Tudor now has to control. They only have 6 riders. Every team has got a maximum of 6 riders. There's even a team with 4, but there's only 6 riders, making things a little bit more difficult to control. But Tudor, of course, are doing a great job so far. That attack by the Green Project Bardiani rider been neutralised.
I think he just got excited, looked around and had about 50 metres and seen the black jerseys at the front and thought, maybe not.
Yeah, if Simon Carr indeed picked up the 3 seconds, it means that he moves to 4th place. It all depends on who picks up the bonus seconds on the line, of course, 10, 6 and 4. But it shows there is ambition there for E of Education Easy Post to go for that general classification. And as I explained before, in recent years, the gap between the numbers 1 and 2 in the final GC was never really big in the Tour of Langkawi. So these bonus seconds, they really do matter. There we have it, big man Scully taking 3, Carr taking 2, and Barta, just like yesterday, picking up some points as well. Thomas Barta is moving up in the GC, as is Simon Carr. But interesting sprinting there. Tomorrow, of course, we've got 3 intermediate sprints again, or actually just 2, because we have so many climbs. Tomorrow will be a day for the King of the Mountains jersey. Checking out some of the jerseys we haven't seen before. There with 164 is the Li Ning Star team from China, with their Chinese rider Lu Hao Li. The light blue is the Thailand Continental team. We have seen them before. So far, I haven't seen our riders of the Giant Cycling team. There's only 4 of them, 4 Chinese riders. But it would be more interesting to go to the front right now instead of racing at the back. We're already on the outskirts of Kota Baru, like I said, a city founded in 1844, actually really not that old. Invaded by Japan in the Second World War in 1941, when Japan started their raid of conquering the entire Malacca Peninsula, including Singapore, which was of course quite a big deal against the Allied forces, including Britain. But actually not a really old city here on the border with Thailand. 315,000 people live in Kota Baru, or translated from Malay, it's the new city. We have the teams at the front that we saw yesterday, with Chudapur Cycling there in black, the blue of Astana, Kazakhstan. We just passed the sign of the final 10 kilometers. Well, Brian, what do the other teams have to do to beat our man in the green jersey, Arthur de Klein?
Well, it's a difficult one. I think he's proven he's the fastest. Waymas is close. Syriza, I think he has to kind of really, think about maybe getting some help. But I saw him last year in this race, and he does kind of ride alone in the sprints at the finish, and I think it's going to be the same this sprint. It's very difficult to get the kind of lead out nailed. It's kind of left up to Tudor Pro Cycling and the black for the moment, and I think the other teams have to just kind of play on that, and either hope that Arthur de Klein gets out of position, which is quite easy to do in these kind of messy sprints. But it's going to be very difficult. I think Arthur de Klein is definitely the kind of fastest here. But let's see what kind of happens. I really do think that Waymas and Syriza need a little bit more help towards the final here.
We have Sasha Waymas in orange jersey. That is the points jersey here in Langkawi. And we have Arthur de Klein in the blue jersey, which is actually almost the same color as Astana, the jersey worn by Gleb Syriza. So that is our top 3 from yesterday, both in turquoise, both in blue are Syriza and Arthur de Klein, and in orange, which is of course also one of the basic colors of the Human Powered Health team, we have Sasha Waymas. So those are the distinct colors. Yesterday we had the man from Malaysia in 4th place in the stage. Mohamed Abdul Halil, which was a lovely result for him, of the Malaysia national team. Zanoncello was 5th yesterday. Lorenzo Conforti, Kanal Barta, the man of Caja Rural, we see a lot of Caja Rural at the front, was 8th, and then 2 riders for Terengganu with Motsare and Fakhruddin Mashuki, our new king of the mountains. The Bolton Equities Black Spoke team, they didn't really get to sprint yesterday. George Jackson was actually their best man in 20th place. Bostock finished a little bit behind the peloton. I don't know what happened there. Maybe he had a mechanical or something. Or a little bit of jet lag. Pretty busy part of the season for the Bolton Equities Black Spoke team. They raced some races in Belgium and France. They went to Taihu Lake. They're now racing in Malaysia. So a lot of travelling going on there for the team from New Zealand.
I think Matt Bostock has had a lot of travel. I believe from the Tour of Britain. It finished in South Wales, and he had to get to Gatwick to get a flight to China to ride in China before this race. So I think he just made the flight by less than an hour. So it's, you know, as soon as you finish a race, you're kind of whisked off, and off you go.
I remember that 2 weeks ago with the finish of the CIMAC Ladies Tour. We had to do the podium ceremony for Zoe Backstedt in the Best Young Rider jersey first, so not the yellow jersey, but the Best Young Rider first, because she had to rush to the airport. Otherwise, she would have missed her flight. And then people say, well, can't they stay one more night in a hotel? Well, if you're staying in hotels 150 days a year or more, every night in your own bed is a good one. Green Project Bardiani, Astana Tudor, the Bolton Equities Black Spoke team. A lot of room for a lot of sprint trains. We've got 5 in a row at the moment on these really wide roads. If we look at the finish straight, I don't see anything all that terrible, apart from a really weird 2 90-degree turns in the final kilometre. That will quite potentially take some speed out of the trains and completely disorganise your sprint train.
Yeah, the sprints here tend to be kind of rather messy, and I think for the experienced teams it's all about keeping their sprinter safe and at the front, out of trouble, and giving them a kind of armchair ride in towards the finish. You can do it 2 ways. You can get up there and get involved with the melee, or you can sit back and wait. I did get involved with some of these sprints, and I used to kind of wait and try and come up late rather than, you know, push and shove. But you know, there's a lot of teams here, you know, looking after their sprinter, and I would say it's quite early to do this. In teams of 6 riders, it's very, very early to do it. But as we heard from Weymouth, unfortunately we heard it and it hasn't gone out, but he said he just hopes everybody keeps a straight line in the sprint.
Yeah, we're inside the last 5 kilometres of this second stage of the Tour of Langkawi. Started in Kuala Terengganu, finish in Kota Baru. Kota Baru, not very often it's a finish town. Usually it's a start town in the Tour of Langkawi, and we do kind of the stage that we did today in the opposite direction. The last time we did have a stage finish here in Kota Baru was 2007, and that one was won by Alberto Loddo, the Italian rider. In 2015, we had the National Championships of Malaysia in Kota Baru, the Islamic city, as they call themselves, since 2015. We are preparing ourselves for a bunch sprint with our top 3 of yesterday. In the greenish turquoise jersey is our race leader, Arvid de Klein. In the another turquoise blue jersey of Astana is Gleb Saritsa, and in the orange points jersey is Sasha Wemas. That is the top three of yesterday. Caja Rural very active at the front as well. Tomasz Barta had a top 10 place yesterday. Two riders of the Green Project Bardiani in the top 10 yesterday with Zanoncello and Luca Conforti. And those are the teams that we see at the front, including Bolton Equities Black Spoke, who are really racing coherently there. They're really racing together. But yesterday it only resulted in a 20th place for George Jackson, the man with the mullet. Final 3 kilometers are coming up as we have Tarozzi here at the back, Natarov, two riders probably doing some work there for their sprinter teams. Yeah, this is what you explained, Brian. This camera shot is it's pretty hard for us to discern anything. But this is that turn at 3K to go. So this is a left-hander. And then in the final kilometer, we got 2 of these turns to go.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, big wide roads, plenty of room. Yeah, technical finish would kind of string the peloton out a little bit. But just as we say that kind of one kind of left-hand turn there, it's going to string the peloton out. We've not got, you know, riders all over the roads and the trains. So yeah, the camera motorbike just getting in the way there. So back to the front, and hopefully we'll see the kind of trains kind of leading out. Tudor Pro Cycling in the left-hand side as well. I think Human Powered Health for Weymouth in the orange also there. So kind of split in the peloton, but not the split we normally see. It's kind of split down the middle. Looks as if Bolton Equity is still on the right-hand side. I think they will go with Bostock today and probably help them a little bit better. But some other teams starting to infiltrate the lead-out trains now, so this is getting rather messy.
I think this is the blue of the Hengshang cycling team, racing with the Cristian Railianu, the man from Romania, trying to mingle in the sprint. The people are everywhere. We're in the final 2 kilometers. The final kilometer sign is about to come up. Speed is around 50 kilometers an hour right here. And then just after the final kilometer sign, the Flamme Rouge, we got 1 turn to go, and then straight after another one, which will take some speed out of the peloton. The first one is going to be a right-hander, and then we have a left-hander, and then we go straight to the finish line for the final 800 meters. Things seem to have calmed down just a little bit as the Flamme Rouge is right here. And now you have to be at the front and make sure you still have a few riders in front of you for the first of the 2 turns. This is a very dangerous situation there as we take that first turn to the right here. And, well, it's all about deciding which side of the traffic island that you take, because you might find yourself in a little bit of a pickle if you end up on the wrong side. Now we have that left-hand turn as the camera bike stays with the rear of the peloton. Hopefully we can go back to the front. There we are. And this is what happened after these 2 90-degree turns. The peloton completely stretched out. A little bit of disorganizing there in the sprint trains, and hopefully we can go back to the front because it's 300 meters to go. There we have it, a fantastic lead out yet again by Michael Zeilaert. Michael Zeilaert with on his wheel Arvid de Klein in that leader's jersey. Saritsa is there, Zanoncello is there as well. The man from the Czech Republic is there for Caja Rural, but this should be a good one for Arvid de Klein, although Gleb Saritsa does have the power and he wins the stage. And this came down to the brute force of Gleb Saritsa in that final 50 meters to the finish line, Brian. That was an impressive sprint there by the man from Russia.
Yeah, it was. It was this year's Tour de Langkawi is about, you know, 2 sprints already, and 2 very different sprints. Yesterday we saw Saritsa lead out. Today it was kind of led out by Arvid de Klein, and you know, he kind of led out just inside 200 meters to go. Saritsa was faster, so Saritsa got it right today. He got it wrong yesterday, went too early, inside 300 meters to go. But today he got it spot on. Perfect sprint by Saritsa, and it looked as if Bardiani's rider, Zononcello, was up there as well. So it was a case of that kind of right left-hander. It was almost kind of perfect from Tudor Pro Cycling, but it's been a tale of two completely different sprints, and it just goes to show you that it's all about positioning and timing, and Syriza got it bang on today.
Yeah, and of course the riders would not have done a recon of this finish because the hotel is 200 kilometers to the south here. Maybe one of the team personnel said something about everybody has fellow viewer, of course, YouTube as well, of Google Street View, I meant. So they probably did some research, but it was all about what you said, the right and left-hander, and make sure you got some people in front of you. Michael Zeilat did a top job, but Syriza did an even better job, just surfing on the wheel of Arvid de Klein and getting out of that wheel in the final 50 meters with a powerful sprint. Syriza, he picks up 10 bonus seconds. Arvid de Klein picks up 6, meaning that the Dutchman keeps the leader's jersey, and that Syriza is now 2 seconds down in the GC on De Klein. De Klein naturally also stays the leader. In the points classification, our king of the mountains is going to be Fakhruddin Masuki of the Terengganu team, and the best Asian rider, well, that might be Gleb Syriza, since Russia is not Asia, Kazakhstan is Asia. It might still be our man from Mongolia, but we'll have to confirm that when we get the GC. Yesterday, sadly, we didn't get the GC and the top 10 on air, but we do know the winner, and that is Syriza. And we do know that Arvid de Klein remains race leader. Tomorrow, we got de Klein, Sanancello, Babor, Gaburo, Conforti, Kreder, Onaka, Michael Zeilaert and Alessandro Iacchi. That is our top 10 today. We go again tomorrow with most likely different riders in the top 10. Thanks for